Welcome to Coffee and Cocktails. Today I'm going to go through and create my annual budget for 2024, and I figured I would bring you along with me. So I have this income and expense tracker, which is a Google Sheet download that I have, and I've began filling it out. So I've already included income categories and source, as well as the different expenses. I figured it's not that interesting to watch that, so I went ahead and filled that out. Basically, it's just a drop down, selected my item, and filled it out that way. All right, so beginning with income for January, I work a corporate job. I work in corporate finance. So most months I receive 2 paychecks. It's every other week. And then twice a year I get 3 paychecks. So let's see. So in January, I would get about $55.24 for 2 paychecks. And that'll be the same until May, because May is a 3 paycheck month. So that month I would be getting about $82.86. June, back to the $55.24. Also in June is when my merit increase would kick in. So I'm going to estimate maybe an additional $50 per paycheck on that. So I'm going to make it $56.24 because of the 2 paychecks. And then September, also $56.24, October. And then November is a 3 paycheck month. So that is going to be, let's see, it'd be $82.86 plus the $150. So let's do that. So $84.36. And then December would be back to the $56.24. And so then on this spreadsheet, it creates a total for the year. So this would be my net take-home pay for the full year. And then this file also has a little spreadsheet over here, or sorry, a graph over here to show the different amounts. All right, so next will be credit card rewards. I don't get a ton of credit card rewards, so honestly, I'm probably not even going to include it. I don't spend a ton on credit cards. I have no credit card debt, and so what I do spend on my credit card is everything that I'm just normally paying, and I pay it off immediately. But I would say it's not a ton, and it's not a income that I can rely on each month, so I'm not even going to include it. Miscellaneous, I don't know, I'll maybe say like, I don't know, $10 to $15 a month. I'm gonna say $10 a month there, not much. Okay, so the next one is bonus. So with my job, I do get an annual bonus. It's a certain percentage of my pay, and that is paid out in June. So after tax, I'm going to estimate it's going to be about $10,000. I do live in a high cost of living state, and so with the tax that's taken out, it's quite a bit of the bonus. So this would be my after tax amount. Interest, I do have some high yield savings accounts. There's not a ton in there right now. And dividends, I do have some dividends that I receive, but I don't think I'm going to include anything for interest or dividends, just to be on the safe side. So for the year, let's see, that gives me a total income net of about $82,582. So that's what I have to work with for the year. And then if I go down to the expenses, let's see. Housing, so I live in an apartment. My rent right now is $23.74. Again, I do live in a high cost of living area, so it is quite high. And it will increase in October. They generally increase about 10% each year. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Times 1.1. All right, and so I'm just going to round it and say 2611 for the last 3 months of the year. Water, sewer, trash, I do pay monthly. It averages around about $50 to $55 a month. So just to be safe, I'm just going to say $55 for each one. All right. And then the next category, natural gas. So I also pay gas at my apartment. This can vary greatly depending not only the season, but also if I am home. So I do travel for work a lot. So a lot of times that will change this category. Same with my electricity. Which I also don't think I even put on here yet. So let me add electricity. Do I have a category? So I don't have a category for electricity. So what I'm going to do is just add it in here in the sub tab. I do have it here. So let's try this. Must be missing it. Oh, here it is, electricity. So let's see, natural gas. Just to be safe, I'm going to say on average, it's probably, let's see, I'm looking back at my last year tracking. It's about, on average, about $20. So I'm just going to say 25 just to be safe since prices are increasing everywhere. And then just average it across the year. Electricity, while I'm thinking about it, average last year was about $62 a month, and so that's what I'm going to go with as well. Phone, I do have a cell phone, and I pay about $75 a month for that. I'm just going to round up to 76 because it's 75 and some change. And internet, I pay $95 for right now, or I guess it's like $91. So I'm going to put it as $95. All right. Let's see. Storage. So I do have a storage room that I share with my mom. I live in a 1-bedroom apartment by myself, so I do have a storage room that I use half of it. My mom uses the other half. And so that is about $85 a month. And that's really just like where my Christmas stuff is, my Christmas tree, that kind of stuff that I don't necessarily have space for in my apartment. I'm trying to see how much is kind of left. Okay, so it's still about 48,000 to go. Okay, that's good. Groceries. This will vary. Again, if I'm traveling for work, usually the month that I am gone and the month leading up to that travel, I don't spend very much. But then when I come back, I end up spending a lot. Last year, on average, I spent about $200 a month. With the price of groceries increasing all the time, I'm just going to go $250 on average just to be safe. Which I think is still pretty reasonable. Dining out. I don't necessarily go out too much. I try and cook at home most of the time, as I've been trying to pay off debt. So I'm going to limit this to an average of $50 a month. And that way, if I have months where I don't go out or don't spend as much, that'll kind of make up for a month when I go over. Coffee. I would say I have a coffee addiction. I go get coffee quite often, and I also make coffee at home. So I budget about $30 a month for that. Subscriptions. So this would include things like Netflix, Disney, Hulu, or Disney Plus, Hulu, Peacock. Thinking that's the main things. I also have a few like credit card annual fees. Also a YNAB subscription and Paramount Plus. So let's see. On average, I'm looking at last year. On average, for all of my subscriptions, it totaled about $102 per month as an average. So I'm just gonna go with that. I'm just gonna say 102. I think I can probably cut some of those. I don't really watch most of those shows or most of those streaming services, but for now I've got it. Let's see, gas and fuel. So this would be for my car. On average, last year was about $43, so I'm just gonna budget $50 a month. I live in California, and so our gas is not very cheap. Let's see, parking, transportation. I don't need a lot for this. Only thing I do need is for my apartment, I do have to buy an annual parking permit, which is $25 a year, and that's every May. So that's that. Other parking, like street parking, stuff like that, it's very rare, I would say, so I'm not even going to include that here. Auto maintenance, let's see, oil change. I'm due for an oil change, so I do have a sinking fund for auto maintenance, so I think what I'm going to do here is just put that amount, because I do save $20 a month towards my auto maintenance sinking fund. So I'm just going to keep it as that, and that way it builds up over time, and then when I need it, it is there. Annual auto registration. Let's see. That is due, I think, in February. Last year was $256, so I'm just going to put that. My car insurance. I'm hoping it goes down. I do know that it is due in January. I haven't gotten the bill yet, so I'm not sure how much it's going to be. Last year is about $1,065, so just to be safe, I'm just going to say $1,100. I think it should probably go down, but just in case. All right, household consumables. So this is things like toilet paper, paper towels, Kleenex, kind of anything I use for the house that gets used, cleaning supplies, that kind of thing. I'm going to just say average it out around $25 a month. I don't think it really ends up being that much each month, but some months it's higher than others. Household durables. This is things that I buy for my house. I'll say $30 a month on average. Again, it's gonna vary depending on what I'm doing, or what month it is. Renter's insurance is going to be due in April. I think last year it was $250, so we'll just go for that. We'll come back to discretionary spending and self-care and clothing. Next is the debt section. So I have 3 student loans remaining. I've worked very hard to try and pay them off as much as possible. So right now they're all under $3,000. So total between the 3, I owe about $7,800 or so. Let's see, this first one, the minimum is like $79. So I'm just say 100. These two, these have very low interest rates. The minimum on these is around $25 each for these other two. I'm just going to say, actually, I'm going to say 25. Actually, I'll do the minimums for a couple months because I want to put money into my IRA for the year. So I am still working to finish my IRA for 2023. I still have about $6,000 left to put in. And so with IRAs, you have up until April 15th of the following year to put money in it for the previous year. So I have up till April 15th, 2024 to fund my IRA for 2023. The limit for 2023 was $6,500. I've already put in $500. So if I do the remaining $6,000 over the next 4 months, it's going to be $1,500 between January and April. So that's going to take a big chunk of my money those months. I just want to see. Yeah, so January's already over. So it's not gonna be able to do that much in January. So let's just do 1,000. 1,000. If I make this, say 1,600, and 1,700. That make up that 500, and still leaves me a little bit. Okay, this one. Still short $43 in January, so I'm gonna have to lower this. So this one, the minimum was $78.95. So let's do that. And I am traveling in January for work. I'll be gone for 2 weeks, so I'm gonna actually lower my grocery budget for January down to probably $50. It's because I've already got groceries. I'm filming this in the middle of December, so I have groceries, and then I'll be gone for 2 weeks in January, so I think that should be fine. I'd like to leave a little bit there, so let's just do 100, I guess, just to be safe. Okay. So then the first few months of the year, this is gonna just be the minimums until that Roth is filled. Oops. Trying to just copy this over. There we go. What do we have left? Okay, still have some money left, so that's good. So then I want to start funding my IRA for 2024. So in 2024, they are raising the limits for a Roth IRA to $7,000. So let me just take a calculator. So $7,000, there's how many months left? Okay, so it'll be about $875 a month to fund that fully, and then that should fund it for 2024, and that should be fully funded. Yep, 7,000. Perfect. All right, so what does that leave each month? Okay. Obviously June has a lot more left because of the bonus. And then the months with the 3 paychecks, May and November. So that's good. Okay. So then what I want to do in May, let's see, let's go back here. Discretionary spending, self-care, clothing. I don't really need a ton of clothing. Self-care, I do like to get my nails done every 3 weeks or so. That's about if I do a manicure and a pedicure, it's about $120 every few weeks. I don't usually do both though, so if I just do manicure, I just went the other day, it was $59 just for the manicure. So if I say 1 manicure or 2 manicures and 1 pedicure, it'd be $172 a month. I don't want to spend that much really, but I'll put that in February. April's gonna have to go. Not gonna be able to do that in April, so I'll have to skip one. And then 172, 172, 172, straight across. Okay, great. So I think April's pretty much done. Discretionary spending. There's nothing I can necessarily think of for discretionary spending right now. I do have a vacation in April planned for, I think, 7 nights. I'm going to Hawaii. So the month before, I'll want to save up money for that. I don't think I have that as a category. So what I'm going to do is add in here savings, vacation fund, and then I will add that down here. Whatever's left in March will go there, so $200. we'll go there. Whoops. 200. Don't think there's really anything left in February. $50, 128 in January. So we'll just say 150 to save for that, and then I'll have that for spending. I don't have any other vacations or work trips planned. I may be going somewhere towards the end of April for a business trip, but it's only for a weekend, so I'm not really planning anything there. So let's see the rest. May through December. May, we've got 3,800 left. I'm gonna start with the minimums here, and I'll adjust as needed. Discretionary. June, I want to put some into a vacation sinking fund, just because I do travel for work, like I mentioned, and I like to take vacations. For work trips, I like to usually have about $1,000 set aside at any given time, just because sometimes my business trips can be 3 weeks long, and so then on the weekends we are free to do, kind of whatever we want. And so on international trips, it is fun to go do some touristy things. So I do like to keep at least $1,000 set aside at any time just for work trips. And I'd like to start building up a fund for vacations, just in case I do end up going on vacation later in the year. And since June has some leftover money, about 11,000. I think what I'm going to do actually is pay these 3 student loans off with that. At that point, it should be, I don't know, I would say this will probably be 2,500. This one, I'm trying to think what the balance is right now. I know one of these is 2,900, which I think is this one. And then this one's like 2,100. That's what it is right now. So it'll be, I don't know, about 2,000 at that time. Okay, so how much does that leave then? Leaves 3,758. So we'll put 3,500 here to travel, and then the other 258. We'll put in discretionary spending for now. It's kind of the leftover, so I'm not sure what I would need at that point. May, there's still 3,700 left. 100 in clothing. I'll put 200 in clothing if I, just to kind of start saving for it. I don't really need anything. I've got plenty of clothes. Discretionary, should be fine. Annual, yeah, I guess the rest. 35. I guess in the brokerage, 3,000. I don't know if I want to do that. I might come back to that and move that around. But for now, we'll put it there. Still leaves 500. I'll put that 500 to travel. All right, July. Let's see. July, we have, let's see, July, August, and September, we have about 1,200 left. So those will be paid off at that point. So at that point, I will have no debt, which is nice because then I can start putting that money towards other things. I do want to start saving for an emergency fund and then a down payment. I do have a small emergency fund right now of about $4,000. I would like to get that up to about 15,000. Do I have that category here? Don't think I do. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add savings, savings emergency fund. And so let's see, what was that? July, August, and September, put $1,250 in there. Try and start building that up. And we have October, November, December. No, November. 3,800 left in November. Some of that's gonna go to holidays, which I know I have a holiday category. I don't think I added it though. Holidays for November. I always end up spending more than I thought I was going to spend on holiday stuff and gifts. So I'm gonna put 300. I don't have any kids. I don't have a ton of people I have to buy presents for, so I think that should be sufficient. The rest will probably then go to the emergency fund, the 3,500 there. I might actually get close to having the fully funded $15,000 emergency fund by the end of the year, which would be awesome. So let's see, October, what was left? I'll put that 1,000 there. Not quite, that's all right. December, still 1,000. Okay, so do 1,000 there. Okay, I'm good with that. And that way, if there's ever any extra money that comes in, if I get a pay raise, that still gives me some wiggle room. If my pay raise is more than the $50 per paycheck, then I'm just guessing, or any interest, anything like that, dividends, whatnot, then I can always add some more to like the discretionary spending or the clothing. I'm trying to have a fairly low spend year. So I think that's good. So let's see, does this have a total? Okay, so out of the year, it looks like income will be around $82,582, and expenses budgeted for would be $82,363. So that's great. Looks like June is the highest month there because of the bonus. Then November and May, which makes sense because those 3 paycheck months. So that looks great. This file also has an actuals summary tab, so then every month it should automatically update with the spending, the actual spending, and actual income, so that's great. There's also a dashboard that has some different graphs and charts on it, which is great. Okay, so that is it. So I hope you enjoyed going through my annual budget with me. And if you have any questions, just leave them down in the comments below. Thank you.